Okay, guys, we're back. Hey, new story, new face, new words. DC Mayor changed the whole story. I told you it's gonna take off. Let's watch what you got to say right now. Intro, new DC Mayor. Trump movement is moving forward.
This federal surge has had a significant increase on crime in Washington, D.C. And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years. The difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. I want to say that I have been personally engaged with Attorney General Bondi and the President's Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, and
Okay, you gotta see how now she was so fluent in previous speakings about DC crime and the administration, federal administration, what they're doing, and now when it's getting rolled back, there's all these pauses in her speech, and stats are she's very because she got to watch out for her constituents. This one is bipartisan stuff goes on. That's why I want to bring this to you. Everything else is smooth, but now it's all of a sudden it's very choppy. It's is direct, but too many pauses. Just watch the mannerism, watch the behavior.
I spoke with the president this afternoon, and I was reminded of our first meeting after his reelection, where we discussed shared priorities for the district. There, I was reminded that the president's interest in cities predates his time in office, and his knowledge of DC had significantly increased from the first time he was in the White House. We will be supportive of the president's $2 billion request to improve infrastructure, especially federal infrastructure in the district. Now, sometimes people are surprised when I make this statement, but it is a fact. We have a relatively small encampment problem in DC. It, however, is highly visible. So this week, I think Thursday or Friday, we are going to do another census count of unsheltered people in DC. That will give us an accounting of if.
See, when it's about getting money, her eyes is all over the place. So watch her eyes and everything is everywhere. See, this is politicians. When it's about money, this is what it's about. It's about your objectives, and it's not about the people so forth. It's about people too. I can say that, but it's the objectives. This is a reaction piece on to DC Mayor and what she was saying about the alignment with the Trump administration about the federal National Guards and everything. She went online a little bit and say it's not about that. And she's very curt to her words. Just listen to the words, the verbiage, and you'll see. But it's about that $2 billion. She wanted to put that out, definitely out there in the media, to make that be known that this is what they're talking about. This is the agreement, this is the conversation, this is the marker that's pushing this directive to move DC towards that. That's what it sounds like. It's about money. But without further ado, let's continue moving on forward.
Any tents remain, where those tents are, the number of residents living there, and the number of people who may not be in tents but are still on the street. We want to know where they are so that we can connect them to services and get them to come inside. We know that we have had fewer gun crimes, fewer homicides, and we have experienced an extreme reduction in carjackings. What we know is not working is a break in trust between police and community, especially with new federal partners in our community. We know having masked ICE agents in the community has not worked, and National Guards from other states has not been an efficient use of those resources.
Earlier this week, activists were.
See, right there, what she's saying, she says, yeah, this is a word. ICE is not working. That's a more emotional marketing, advertising on what's happening in the media. You got to look at that from the point. You got to listen to the words they use. Uh, then she says the National Guard, right there with ICE connecting that, saying the federal. And she said it was different. ICE has not been an efficient use. I mean, I apologize. National Guard has not been an efficient use. So what that means? That means efficient meaning was economic. It means I don't know what she means, but efficient use meaning it's the military. National Guards for more uh, bigger things, but this is emergency. For emergency, this is what they're used for. So it is a benefit, and it's at the DC Capitol, and there's an emergency in the crime wave that was in DC. So that is efficiency use, but it's the term and how you're using it, what they were doing broader scale. I'm saying if it was like the Hurricane Katrina and the National Guard went down there, that would be an efficient use where typically Americans will say yes. But when you're looking at crime across the country, and you got to start making a changing these crime waves and that the high crime rates, you got to start somewhere. And since it's not a hurricane, we don't see it in the same light. And as the media has been promoting this agenda of downcasting certain things, now we're seeing the light. Now we're seeing that this use of resources as far as National Guard and different components of ICE, Homeland Security, FBI, different agencies working together. She mentioned that this come together. The DC Metro Police have more access to use their skills in different areas of DC and control more of the crime. So it is actually is a positive use, but it's this terminology used to cast off. But at the same time, if you think about what she's been saying, it's been definitely she's been acknowledged the administration, Trump's administration, and the resources used here has definitely helped with the carjacking because that's probably she kept reaching carjacking. That's probably the highest rate. But what when you think about carjacks, come on guys, when you think about carjacking, it is just jacking a car. A lot of people they do jack the car, take the people, use the car for other things. Let's say they jack the car and then going around the street about a block, a mile away, and they do a shootout and they jump out the car. See, they don't have to go with today's these kids got a little more ruthless. People that got more ruthless instead of wiring a car and stealing it. Some there's cases where they just take a person's car and do other crimes. So that's a crime. They do additional crimes, and that's been known. It's not a. I'm not making up something new. You can look over and ask any police officer; they'll tell you, yes, people jack people and do other crimes. Uh, but that's not talked about. So 87% uh, carjacking is down. And what is considered carjacking? Carjacking can be the person in the car, or they could be a car parked and they go steal a car, and that's jacking a car. Is that classified under that? We don't know. These are the type of things you got to pay attention to when these politicians are speaking, because what's the significance of carjacking? What is define what you mean what you mean by carjacking? Because right down in Baltimore, they might define it different. The police, Baltimore police, then you got the Virginia police, they might define it differently. So you got to understand everyone's speaking words, but you got what do you mean by that? And we don't know in detail what the DC mayor means by this. We just know she means carjack, but it can include a number of things. But nevertheless, we know it's 87% down. That's a heck of 87%. So there's only 13% come on that. This federal movement has did a wealth of good for the DC residents. All the media has been talking about it. When they interview people, they tell you most, not a large percent of them always say it's better in DC. There's some that say it's not better. They don't like the heavy hand of the National Guard and the oversaturation of forces, federal forces. But for the most part, it's been a good thing. What's your opinion? Leave a comment down below. It's crazy. Let's continue on. We'll finish this up.
Out front of the D.C. courthouse during arraignments that lasted well into the night, about 100. My understanding is a good portion of them were no papered. I just wanted to get your thoughts around that, just seeing as though police are arresting people.
Yep, that's a great question. We don't have any information around what the courts have done or what the U.S. Attorney has done. We just don't have that information available for this briefing, but I do think it's important to understand.
Okay, guys, what we see here is the end of this clip, and what I gotta say to you guys, you know what's going on. You know this federal movement, all these media, and I put out a couple of videos. You know it has been definitely an improvement, and now the mayor is coming out. Now I watched several other clips that I was going to react to, but I decided not to. I'm just going to state to you guys. There's other clips that talk about how she's actually stepping away from the movement of the Democrat Party, because some of the Democrat Party members on her team, that's high fluent, high visible people, they're speaking against what she's saying, and so she's not sticking with the narrative that's being put out there. So you got to be mindful, and some news affiliates have actually covered that and put the clipping video and the voice clipping of the high visible other Democrat members that's in her on her team or in her circle that speaking against her. So there's a fashion. There's a break from the fashion. So this might be a break. I'm gonna tie this. This is a break from the DC Democratic fashion that she's part of, because she's talking positive about the administration, Trump's administration, and the MAGA movement. So if that's the case, then that's definitely against the movement that's been pushed all over the country on the Democrat side. So what is your opinion? What is your view? So this is very interesting. I hope that the mayor is still in good graces with her party system. Um, but she's speaking truth now. She's speaking kind of like Eric Adams of the NYC of New York. She's stating the facts. There has been improvement with the federal government. She actually walked the line on a couple with the ICE and with the National Guard, but and then she actually acknowledged the budget, the $2 billion budget that's going to help DC. So without further ado, what is your opinion? Leave a message and comment below. Are they going to turn on her like Eric Adams, or are they going to keep embracing her? Is it a fascist group that's going to turn on her inside the Democratic Party? I don't know. But the mayor is speaking truth to power and speaking truth to the stats, and not aligning but acknowledging the stats that in 20 days that the federal government has improved the city of DC. And she got a downsides by saying it's a small encampment of citizens, which is true. What's your opinion? Excuse me, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, that's your way.